ما أريد من هذا الشعب إلا أن يزيد في الحمد والشكر إلى الله عز وجل، ويزيد من محبة الوطن، ويزيد من العمل ومضاعفة العمل لما يسعى فيه من خير له وللدولة والأهل. هذا اللي أنا أدوره من الشعب، وربنا إن شاء الله يوفقنا جميعا على ما يحب ويرضى.
The UAE has given us everything what we required to start, establish and sustain this industry in UAE. The UAE has got everything that is required, like world-class infrastructure, systemized, streamlined procedures and the leadership to sustain economic sustainability in the country. We are thankful to UAE, its leaders, Ras Al Khaimah and its leadership, especially His Highness and the rest of the team. Thank you so much.
Welcome to a new episode of Pearls of Union, the show that embraces and celebrates all the success stories in the UAE. Today, our guest is the General Manager of Fabcons company, the company which is leading in steel manufacturing, fabrication and installation and more, of course. This conversation will be between me and Mr. Binu Jacob, the General Manager of Fabcons, and he will introduce us to the details of the success story behind this huge factory that we were impressed by when we came here to the factory. Mr. Binu, hello and welcome to our show.
Thank you so much for visiting us and attending this interview. Thank you so much again for your courtesy. Most welcome to Fabcon.
Thank you. As I was saying in the introduction, we were impressed by how big, how huge actually the factory is. We can see, like any person who comes here, he can see that there is like experience, there is like punctuality, and there's like so many employees. So you are, of course, a contributor in this. So before we talk about the company and manufacturing and all these details, I want to talk about you as a person, your background, your academic life, your skills.
Yes, my career has now spanned almost 35 years. I passed out from National Institute of Technology in India in 1991, and immediately afterwards I joined a company, government company in India, who is into process industry, into fertilizers, chemicals, petrochemicals and so on. So there I joined as a management trainee, and then after a span of almost 18 months in various departments, I was assigned to a division called Engineering and Project Management Division called the FEDO. So there, that was the basis for my career. So where I developed the foundation for process industry expertise. That was the first phase. The second phase started when I moved from India to the Middle East. That was in 1997, and since 97 to 2005, from a design engineer, I became a general manager, and have been working in and across various functions of a steel fabrication industry. So that is where I got my expertise and gathered together how this business is conducted.
So when did you start working with Fabcons?
Fabcon we started, that is actually the phase 3 of my career. We started in 2007. The idea for this company, this initiative was from one of my previous colleagues who suggested that let's start something of our own to build something that we stand for. So the beginning was very modest. Thank you so much for mentioning that this company is big and punctual and with so many people and so on. But then the beginning was very modest. But ever since our initiative, our focus was on a few things like the basics of running any industry. So we have been, ever since that time, we have been following those few fundamental rules that we follow.
So walk me through, please, the process of manufacturing. What actually, these are like mechanical, technical details that, of course, you're capable of explaining more than I do with my introduction. So can you please walk me through the process of working? How do you work with refineries, as I understood? What's the process? Is it in UAE or other regions?
Yeah, let me start with what are the products that we make. So there are basically two major streams of products that we make. One is structural steel, which are basically the skeleton that supports any project. The second is static equipment, commonly known as pressure vessels, heat exchangers, silos, and so on. So these two streams, there are specific codes and standards which dictate how these products are to be manufactured. These are mostly international standards, but also we have customer specifications which calls how specifically they want these codes to be applied to their products. So we follow these. Our people are experienced on this kind of code, standards, specifications and all. So when a requirement from a customer comes in, our people evaluate their requirements vis-a-vis the codes and specifications, and they formalize the requirements, the design and engineering drawings and so on. And then we give a price, an offer, technical as well as commercial offer to the customer. So they evaluate and they come back to us with negotiations, technical discussions and so on. Finally, the order is placed. So there our more detailed activity starts. So thereon, once we get the contract from the customer, our engineering team again goes deeper into the requirements, prepare formal design calculations, make the final shop drawings and as well as the erection drawings, and then it moves through the system. In the fabrication system, and then on to coating, maybe in assembly, and then finally into the delivery stages. So that is our product, and in a brief, this is the process that we make, process that we do. And in some of our products, as I said, the structural steel and pressure vessels, but also we manufacture systems, complete systems, where structural steel, pressure vessels, piping, and even other items are incorporated together, and we make and deliver a complete system. So there we have to have electrical systems, instrumentation systems, assembly, piping systems, and then we do the complete assembly, do the testing, and then we deliver. So this is an essential part of our operations.
You said that you started almost from zero.
Yeah, close to zero. Yeah.
So like any success stories, there are like obstacles and there are solutions to those obstacles. So what are the obstacles that you faced in the beginning, and what are the obstacles that you're facing now? And of course, How did you solve them?
Well, problems are always there. Wherever we go, whatever you do, there are problems. Comes when we make them into these challenges into opportunities. So for us, the first major hurdle was getting finance for the project. We were all experienced, long-term, experienced people in the industry. But then to start a business, we need to have funding. And we approached various banks, but banks were not willing to, finance a startup company. It was not like this. Now banks and other venture capitalists are more open to financing new ventures, small ventures with technologically capable people. But that time, we are talking about 2007, 5-7. So during that time, banks were not so aggressive like today. So we had to collect finance on ourselves. So that was the first major hurdle. Second was, as like any startup, you have your experience, personal experiences you have.
But in the leadership, you have none.
Leadership also we have, but the problem comes when as a company you don't have any experience.
Yeah, as leading a company.
Yes. No, not leading the company. For example, I was leading a company before joining Fabcon, before starting Fabcon. So I was through all the functions of a bigger company, and our people were also experienced in various departments. So leadership was not the problem. We had enough leadership experience. The problem was the experience of the company. The portfolio built for the company. That was initially the problem. So we had to start very small, start with very small items, and then gradually move upwards. So today, now, thankfully, thankful to people around us, to my colleagues, the management team, the employees, our families, the ecosystem like suppliers, customers and consultants and government agencies like Rakis. We are based in Rakis. We have another facility in Maritime City. So thankful to all these ecosystem and all these people around us. We have reached a situation where comfortably we can say that we are one of the leading fabricators in UAE. And we have delivered to almost all around the world. We have delivered major constructions to all over Middle East, UAE, all over Middle East, and then Europe. So
many milestones.
Definitely, yes. So many milestones.
Mr. Binu, I want to ask you about the key strengths of your company that is making you exceptional.
Our strength lies in mostly three streams. The first one being all our activities are in-house. Right from design until testing and load out is done by our own team. So that gives us flexibility and scale in attending the customer requirements. The second, I would say, is the systems and procedures which are mature and subject to continual improvement. Our systems are certified to ISO 9001, 14001 and 45001, and also the fabrication setup is certified to ASME, EN and other international standards. So these ensure that our products that go out meet the customer requirements. The third aspect is that our facilities, the infrastructure has been purpose built and custom designed to easily and economically produce our products. So these three aspects help us to be competitive in the market.
Mr. Binu, what are the plans of Fabcons for growth and expansion?
Well, expansion is an ongoing process for Fabcon. All these 18-19 years we have been going through expansions. But at the moment, more than expansion, of course, we are planning for many expansion plans. But then more important than that is our structuring our organization to meet the challenges of the future. So we are currently making it more, streamlined and ready to take up future challenges. On the expansion side, we are looking at more latest systems for attending to the requirements, more and more ever increasing requirements of environmental and other requirements. So we are investing in latest blasting and painting technologies, and also we are investing in more CNC equipment. Also, some investigations into robotic systems is being undertaken. So that the people that we have can be complemented by robots and expanding into much more advanced systems of manufacturing.
Since we're talking about milestones and success, of course, everybody who's watching us, especially young people, look at life differently when they're young. So for them, it's hectic, confusing, especially when they're like, they want something, but they don't know how to do it. So to anyone who has an idea, to anyone who's ambitious, anyone who's watching, young or old, anybody who wants to start a business, can you please look at the camera and like give them an advice, a message, something that will actually benefit them in the real life?
Yeah, this fabrication industry is a highly technical field. So the fundamental thing is to acquire knowledge in this industry. Like for example, the applicable, as I said before, the specifications, the codes, the standards, and all these associated information. Collect the information, get yourself knowledgeable in this field, and then apply that on the job. That I would say is the first thing. Second, hard work. There's no substitution for hard work. Once you are in something, work like life and death depends on that. I think you will succeed.
Thank you for watching Peers of Union. See you next time.
وطنهم سند لا تذكر الفزعات إلا طراها مداتها بالعطايا